Hey, you're going to learn how to maximize the law of attraction by applying some principles from sexuality, which are focused more on female ejaculation, to help transcend so that you can maximize the results in your life in the financial, spiritual, enjoyment, social, sexuality, happiness, all of these different areas with a common theme. To start out, yesterday I was having dinner with a friend of mine, and she is very beautiful, very successful, and I'm not going to go into more detail because privacy is extremely important. However, what she shared with me were a couple of things that directly tie into the law of attraction, which I'll explain to you momentarily. She was sharing about how in many of her initial relationships, she's in her 20s, in many of her initial relationships, she took things for granted, and she was with guys who were total givers, who would do anything for her. And she even mentioned, she said that she kind of just took it for granted. And then her last relationship, she said by karma she got this guy, but it could just be by chance as well. That the last guy she was with, with all superficial qualities, he was the perfect guy. Well known, very successful, very good looking. However, he abused her, where physically and emotionally, to the point where she now has triggers where if certain things happen, she reverts back into this closed off defensive mode, which is very common. Obviously, if you abuse anyone or any animal, they're going to have, unless they do certain steps to remedy that, they're going to have basically this just automatic response, which is coming from our nature to preserve our livelihood. So that's pretty natural. Now, we talked about a little bit in the area of sexuality and about female ejaculation, and she had never experienced the pleasure or this connection with female ejaculation. So now we're going to talk about another individual, and then I'll explain how these things connect. So another individual, she was definitely on the spiritual path, and she desired to be able to have this experience of female ejaculation. And so she was able to have it the first time, and then she was really excited, and then she did it on her own for a while, a little bit on her own. She said it wasn't the same, and then she was able to then have it at an even more incredible, where instead of just having it, let's say, be a female ejaculation once or twice, it became 4, 5, 6, 10. It was literally ongoing to the point where she was almost to the point of this floating, or probably was at this floating, almost out of body experience. So she actually, from my perspective, she became really focused on the performance aspect of it in terms of, well, how much can one ejaculate? How big of a swimming pool can we make? So here we're talking about the law of attraction as well as sexuality. And here we have situation number one, where the young woman has never had it, and she's a little bit reserved and blocked. She's had been abused. I mean, if you've been hit, that's obviously really serious. But there's things one can do to get rid of that and be open again. And then we have situation number two, where an individual who is definitely on the spiritual path has almost been a little bit deviated by the spiritual path by this intense pleasure and the recognition, obviously, that one's doing something that not all women can do. And it's extremely pleasurable, and it's this full body experience where it can almost be overwhelming the first time, where it can bring one to tears of happiness and of joy. So when we're talking about the law of attraction, a couple of the keys for the law of attraction to work from you, as taken from these stories and these illustrations that I'm giving you, is first of all, is we need to come from a perspective of abundance, infinite abundance in the world. I see too much where, and then we want to change this, obviously, where individuals are coming from a perspective of lack, or that there isn't an infinite abundance. Because if we have an infinite abundance and someone's giving to you, well then of course you're going to be giving too. So the more people are coming from an aspect of infinite abundance, infinite money, there's more than enough money in the world for everyone to have more, way more than they need to meet their needs and to get all the things that they want, and then they realize they don't really want those things because that's not really fulfillment comes from, and then they start doing things to make the world a better place, which actually is fulfilling. So what it takes is first, and this is for the law of attraction to work, and also to have this, to have the experience of a female ejaculation, but also to use it as a sense to transcend. So let me go step by step so we make things really understandable. The first key is to come from a perspective of that there is more than enough for everyone. Okay? I see that there's this infinite white energy that represents everything that we most desire around us, everywhere. And that we can tap into it. And we're meant to tap into it because we're part of it. We're connected with it. And all it is to just recognize that, well, we're part of it, and now I just need a little bit more. It's like what your body does. If you're going to go run, your heart is going to beat faster. It's going to bring blood from other places. Or let's say you're doing your biceps. Your heart will pump blood. Your signals will happen, and blood will come from other places to where it's needed. So it's the same kind of concept. We're part of this infinite energy. Tap into it. Because when we have this mentality that there's this infinite abundance, then what's going to happen is that, for example, in the first example, she would have been giving to all of her first relationships and not kind of saying, oh, well, I'm this special, cute girl. I have lots of Instagram likes, so I don't need to. That wouldn't even enter into her reality because she's coming from a foundational concept. When we talk about the law of attraction and attracting more money, one of the biggest issues that I see is people, they don't think that they can do it. Well, you know, if there's, so we solve all of those issues by affirming and then practicing that we can tap into this infinite energy and then recharge ourselves. And the more we do that, meaning we just visualize, there's this energy and we can fill ourselves up with it, then we can channel it to people and they can actually feel it. But just start out just feeling it, just placing your awareness that, well, yeah, just like we can't see air, maybe we can't see it, but it's all around us. So that would be the first step. The second step is to recognize what the desired outcome of things are, that the true focus needs to be. When we talk about the law of attraction and attracting money into our life or attracting whatever it is, a great example of this is Elon Musk, because he has a car company, an electric car company. Why? In order to save the world, because the fossil fuels are destroying the ozone layer and are accelerating the destruction of the planet, the pollution. He has a rocket company. Why? So that we can become an interplanetary species and outlive the sun and the inevitable destruction of what's happening on Earth. So the key for the law of attraction to work in your life is to have that why beyond yourself. He's not building the space company with the end result being so that he can be the biggest rocket man in the world. It's to put it beyond yourself. So let's look at those examples of sexuality, because it's the same thing about female ejaculation. Is that in situation one, the individual, she's unfortunately coming from a sense of lack, that guys are psychopaths. She used that word a lot. And guys are dangerous. And she needs to prove to herself that guys are not dangerous. But just by that statement of saying, well, you are not dangerous, you're putting danger in your mind. You're not a psychopath. Well, you're not. You're putting psychopath in your mind. So the key is that when we shift the mentality that there is this infinite positive abundance, then if somebody is not polite or if somebody does something, then we recognize, well, okay, let's send them great energy. Let's definitely distance ourselves from them. And then recognize and focus on what we most desire, understanding that there's an infinite abundance of whatever it is. So, for her, what she basically expressed is she likes to feel the emotion of uncertainty and danger like a spy, but at the same time, clearly no one should be hitting anybody else or physically abusing them. So without that aspect of it. And obviously someone she's attracted to. So that would be for her to focus on that. Well, in law of attraction, we focus on what we want. once she does that, she'll have basically taken care of one aspect of the law of attraction, but also she will be opening and creating the foundation for female ejaculation. So let's look at number 2. And I'm not going to talk about techniques. You can Google it. There's enough videos on how to actually do it. You're just going to be stimulating the clitoris and then the G-spot, simultaneously, while helping them through visual, mental, and energy to raise and to expand their awareness and bring their mind quiet to here, which we can do another video on. The second key is to be looking beyond what we're doing. In other words, the reason to be ejaculating and having the feminine ejaculation is not to have the biggest swimming pool that is so big that it's like flooding the floor and the bed and it's like you're in a broken waterbed. That's not the end goal. If that happens, wonderful. If it doesn't happen, that's wonderful. What the end goal is, in terms of the interpersonal intimacy experience, is where the two energies are first pure. The two energies have individually connected with the infinite positive energy in the universe, and then they join, and they're both glowing white lights. Because when you're both glowing white lights and you come together, you can basically transcend and connect as if you become God energy. However, if one of these individuals is still holding on to the issues and the problems, and I don't know if I'm beautiful enough, or you get the idea, then what they're going to do is they're going to give that to the other person. The other person is going to absorb that as well, and their energy can expand. However, to have this true, where you're suddenly, boom, connected with everything, you need to have two pure energies by just bringing your awareness to here, calming your mind, whatever those thoughts are, because your energy will follow your attention and your thoughts. And then you connect consciously with this infinite positive energy, and you can visualize yourself, to start out, that you're glowing white light pure. And if there's any part of you that you see yourself as gray or black, maybe your energy, then you clean it off yourself. You don't need an energy healer to do this. You can become aware, and you need to do that to recognize your power so that the law of attraction works the best for you. So then the ultimate is to come together. This is an intimacy situation. Why? To be able to have an even greater connection with this infinite energy around you. So now you're having this intimacy and this sexual connection. As a female, you're having this female ejaculation. As a guy, you're connecting and feeling this, and now you're connecting with this infinite energy. You're sending it into her. You're helping her glow even greater. She, from her perspective, is expanding her energy and then bringing yours to an even higher level, which is going to increase your vibrational level. It's going to increase your connection. It's going to increase your connection together, and it's also going to help you transcend. When I say transcend, it's going to help you bring the realization that we're living in multiple simultaneous realities, where this human, where, oh, my skin, my watch, is only one of what could literally be millions or infinitely numerous different perspectives on how we can be seeing things, and energy and realities that are all around us at the same time simultaneously. So what I'm saying is that while you're in and you're doing something, you really focus on the spiritual benefit of this greater connection and realization. Let's bring that back into the law of attraction so we can wrap up. I know I've been giving a lot of information and covering a lot of topics. When we're talking about the law of attraction, for it to work the best and fastest for you, you need to have something beyond, well, I want the car, or I've seen on some of the comments, well, my homework, my schoolwork, I haven't manifested the car yet, I'm working on it, or someone manifested that they met their ideal girl, they're fantastic. And every time I say fantastic for them, because I'm happy for them, the more you're successful, the happier I am. What we want to do is say, okay, we're getting the car, we're getting all these things, great, get the things for yourself. However, my ultimate goal is to make the world a better place, because that's where the law of attraction steps in. Because what we're doing is we're saying, okay, make the world a better place. We're affirming that we're recognizing our connection with all things in the infinite positive energy, that when we're making it better for everyone else, then we're going to have an increased glow and an increased positive energy as well. So let me summarize. Whether it's to attract what you most desire, or for a female to have the wonderful experience of female ejaculation, it's the similar concepts. The first one is to recognize that there's an infinite positive energy in the universe and to really practice and become more and more aware of it. The second is to focus on the spiritual aspect of the greater connection and the greater illumination of vibration as really the end result of the things that we're getting or the things that we're wanting or the experience that we're having now. So that what we're doing now is basically, it's wonderful, appreciate it, make it incredible, but as a conduit to something that's even greater than ourselves. I'm excited to have been able to share with you something that's been on my heart for a while, and it's, I think, one of the most incredible things in the universe. The aspect of sexuality when it's combined with energy, two people together and combining, I think it's one of the most powerful, most fulfilling and illuminating things in the world. And then you can, the most incredible thing too, a bonus thing, is that one of the keys to female ejaculation is to go past, if you're a guy, you can help her do it, or if you're a girl and you want to be doing it yourself, that's okay too. Or a girl and a girl, whatever it is, it's perfectly fine. Is there's a normal point, a place where you're more accustomed to saying, okay, that's my pleasure limit. That's when I have my orgasm, maybe number 1 or 2 or 3. And maybe, let's just say there's a certain range. You may be thinking that that's your limit. Well, just like when you're applying law of attraction in your life for money, for finances, for business, for interpersonal, for whatever area, you don't have any limits. You're a limitless person. So one of the keys is to being able to ejaculate is to push beyond that point. If you're a guy, what you can do, you can say, okay, no, just keep on going, whatever it is you're doing. If you're doing manual stimulation or oral, or if you're using, let's say, some type of vibrator, and there's some incredible ones. We can do that on a different video, okay? And that's not my point. It's to go, but it's to say, it's to bring you beyond the point of your normal pleasure. And if you're a guy, you can lead her and say, keep on going, baby, or whatever your term is for affection. Keep on going, and you can count with her. You can go just 20 seconds, just 20 more, 20, 19, 18, 17. And maybe she's saying no, but she's saying no and yes. I mean, obviously, if she says no, then you stop. But you got to get the sense. You know the energy when she's saying, I love this, keep on going, but it's just pushing her beyond her pleasure point. So you got to really recognize that. And it could be the first time you count to 20 or 10 to 1, and then keep on going. And then you can guide her and affirm to her and say, you are beautiful, you're most fantastic, you're a princess. And you're feeling more and more pleasure the more you breathe, and I just love it. Your pleasure is my pleasure. And let your words be 100% congruent, and at the same time you're radiating your energy into her. Help her expand her vibration and her energy, because more than the swimming pool that I mentioned before, what we're focusing on is the spiritual connection, where this becomes something a lot more than the activity. Because then what we can do is we can transcend. When I say transcend, I mean you bring, what did she just do? She just broke her past limits. She experienced something that she had never experienced. It's an incredible level of pleasure in all areas of her body that can get to the point where maybe she's crying, or she's out of her body experience, or she becomes putty in your hands. And then you can take that into one's life and say, okay, well, if I was able to do that, I can do this and this and this and this. And that's the whole concept of the law of attraction, is going beyond what maybe you thought was your limit and realizing that the law of attraction is meant to bring you everything. The final thing that I'll say is that if you're with someone and you're helping them, you're guiding them, and you do this process, it can be a very emotional process. So it's very, very important that you're focused 100% on them. Your energy is focused on them, and that your pleasure is coming from that experience. Because literally after a female has this type of experience, she may be crying. She may be just not even aware or cognizant of what's going on. And your place and your responsibility at that time is to give her comfort, give her, hold her in your arms. If you want to, lay down, she's on your shoulder, whatever it is. But your point is to bring her from a place, this is called aftercare, where you're bringing her from a place of poof, in the clouds or in space, or literally her energy is connected now with this infinite energy on a level that maybe she's never experienced, likely that she's never experienced before. And stay with her, be with her, and help her bring her back to feeling comfort, secure, and loved. Don't be thinking about your pleasure, what you can get at that point. Allow your pleasure to be this greater spiritual illumination and connection. And that's really, really important, so that it must be a fantastic positive experience for both of you, and I will ensure that. Subscribe to the channel, click the bell, and make this a fantastic day. And if we can get 100 comments, over 20,000 views on this video, I will go into more detail on some of the different techniques or what people most want in the comments. Fantastic day.